Jai Hind everyone. Myself Dr. Vandana Sharma from Ajay Kumar Garg Engineering College, Ghaziabad. My subject is engineering physics, and the topic which today I have taken for discussion, that topic is actually the numerical problems related to quantum mechanics. And the topic which I have taken for these numerical problems, that topic is actually application of Schrodinger wave equation. So the parameters which we will try to learn, that how to calculate those parameters are related to Schrodinger wave function or wave equation. So this application which today I'm going to discuss here in the numerical problems, that application is a particle enclosed in a one-dimensional infinite potential box. So exactly what are the parameters which we will learn to calculate in today's lecture? Those parameters are energy eigenvalues for a microscopic particle when it is trapped in one-dimensional potential box, and the second parameter is the eigenfunction. So these are the two parameters which we will learn in today's lecture, that how to calculate these parameters when a particle is trapped in one-dimensional infinite potential box. So before going into detail of those numerical problems, first of all, let's try to see that what exactly the problem is. So as you can see in this picture, we have a microscopic particle, and that microscopic particle is trapped in this infinite potential box. So infinite potential box means over the boundaries. Two boundaries are there. So I'm writing this one as A. So two boundaries are there. One is at x is equal to 0 and the other boundary is at x equal to A. Means you have a box of bit A, and within this box a microscopic particle is trapped, and that particle is moving freely within the box. So you have a microscopic particle which is free to move within this box, and when this particle is there within the box, that particle will exist in certain well-defined energy states. So the energy of those states in which that particle can exist, energy of those states is actually known as energy eigenvalues. And the functions which are related to those energy states, those functions are known as eigenfunctions. So we will try to derive energy eigenvalues for different states when a particle is trapped in the box. In addition to that, we will also see that what are the eigenfunctions related to those energy states. The mathematical expressions for energy eigenvalues and eigenfunction are these two expressions. The first one, this is the expression for energy eigenvalue. N square h square upon 8ma square. And the second expression, that is representing the eigenfunction. So as you can see that there is n in the subscript. So this n is representing nth state. So En in the first equation, it is representing the energy of nth state. And psi n, that is representing the eigenfunction of that particular energy state. Means this psi n, that is wave function of nth state, and this En, that is the energy of nth state. Now what is the meaning of other parameters? You can see this h which is there in this expression, that h is Planck's constant, and you all know what is the value of that Planck's constant from your previous classes. 6.625 into 10 raised to power minus 34 joule second. This is the value of our Planck's constant. In the denominator you have 8ma square. So this m is basically the mass of particle which is trapped in this box, and a, that is breadth of the box. So n, it is representing different states. If we are saying that particle is in its lowest energy state, then n will be 1. Means for the lowest energy state, that n will start from 1. Then for the next energy state, we will have next integer value, that is n equal to 2. For the next state, n will be 3. So it means for the lowest energy state, this energy will be, you will substitute n as 1. So energy will be h square upon 8ma square. And corresponding wave function are given by this equation, psi n equal to root 2 by n sine n pi x upon a. So this root 2 by a, that is the normalization constant here. A is width of the box, n is your integer value, and for different energy states you have different values. For the lowest energy state it will start from 1, n equal to 1, that represents the lowest energy state. Then we have n equal to 2, 3 and so on. So this is energy eigenvalue, and this is energy of nth state, and this is the wave function for nth state. Now you can see in this particular slide, these are the eigenfunctions. So as you can see here, when n is equal to 1, then this is our first state, and psi1, that will be the wave function for first state. So as you know that the wave function is given by this expression. So if you will substitute n as 1, then this root 2 by a sine pi x upon a, that will be the wave function for first energy state. And if you will find the points of minimas and maximas from that value of psi1, you can easily see that there will be two minimas for first wave function. One will be at one boundary, that is x equal to 0, and the second minima will be at second boundary, that is x equal to a. Means two minimas at the boundaries and one maxima at the center. Similarly, if you will substitute the value of n as 2, that will be your second energy state. And in that particular state, again, using this particular wave function, if you will find the maximas and minimas, then in case of second wave function, as you can see, there will be three minimas, two at the boundaries, one at the center, and accordingly you will have two maximas here. So this is our second wave function. Similarly, for third state, you have to substitute the value of n as 3, and after substitution you can easily see that there are 4 minimas for third wave function, and accordingly there will be 3 maximas, and you will get the similar type of behavior for different energy states. So these are the eigenfunction, or this is the behavior of that particle when it is enclosed in one-dimensional finite potential box, and in different energy state you will get this type of wave function. So these are the energy states, and as you know, the energy is given by this relationship. So the first energy state, n is equal to 1. If you will substitute n1, then E1, that is the least possible energy for this particle, and that least possible energy is h squared upon 8ma squared. Now substitute the value of n as 2. If you will substitute n as 2, then E2 is the energy. So if you will substitute n as 2 here, it will be 4 times h square upon 8ma square. Means E2 will be 4 times of energy of lowest energy state or ground state. If you will substitute n as 3, when you will substitute n3, it will be 9h square upon 8ma square. So 9h square upon 8ma square, that will be equal to 9 times energy of the lowest state. If you will substitute n as 4, accordingly you will get it as 16e1, and for nth state it will be n square of e1. So this is the way to find the energy of any state when particle is present in this one-dimensional finite potential box. So now you know what are the eigenfunctions and what are the energy eigenvalues for the particle when it is trapped in one-dimensional infinite potential box. Now let's try to solve some numerical problems based upon this particular concept. So I'm taking first question here. So just go through the question. In this question, you have to find the least energy of an electron when it is moving in a one-dimensional infinite potential box of width 1 angstrom. So what is given in the question? In this particular question, width of the box is given, and it is also mentioned that the particle which you have taken, that particle is actually an electron. So an electron is there, and that electron is confined in a one-dimensional infinite potential box. You can understand it like this. This is x equal to 0, and this point is x equal to A. A is the width of the box. Over the boundaries, potential energy is infinite. So particle is confined between 0 and A. A is actually 1 angstrom. So width of the box is 1 angstrom. Right. So in this box, that particle is trapped and it is moving freely. It means now you have to find the least energy for the particle in this particular box. So the particle which is there in the box, that particle is actually an electron. So now the particle is specified and width of the box is also given. So let's see how to find the least energy for this particle. So as you know that energy eigenvalue, it is given by this relationship. En is equal to n square, h square upon 8ma square. And as I have already mentioned here, that this n will take different integer values starting from 1. So the least possible energy for n is equal to 1. So when you will take n equal to 1 for the lowest energy state, then E1 will be equal to h square upon 8ma square. Now the particle is electron. So if the particle is electron, then mass of the electron you all know. Mass of the electron is 9.1 into 10 raised to power minus 31 kg. Now width of the box, that is 1 angstrom. So you have to remember this, that whenever you are solving numericals, you have to convert all the parameters in same units. So the width of the box is 1 angstrom. So you have to write this 1 angstrom in meters, and that is 10 raised to power minus 10 meters. And your Planck's constant that you already know, it is 6.625 into 10 raised to power minus 34 joule second. Now the problem solved, that simply you have to substitute the value of all these parameters in this equation, and you will get the lowest energy for this electron when it is trapped in a box of width 1 angstrom. So just substitute all these values. So this E1, that is the lowest energy, it will be h square, and you know what is the value of h. It is 6.625 into 10 raised to power minus 34, square of this upon 8 into m. You know what is the mass of electron? 9.1 into 10 raised to power minus 31. A, that is width of the box. So width of the box is 10 raised to power minus 10 meters. So square of that, it means it will be 10 raised to power minus 20. So just simplify it, and after simplifying, you will get the energy, and that energy is equal to 6.03 into 10 raised to power minus 18 joule. It means when particle is trapped in one-dimensional infinite potential box, then within that box, particle can exist in different energy states, and the lowest energy state, that is having energy E1, which is h square upon 8ma square, and that h square upon 8ma square for this particular case is equal to 6 into 10 raised to power minus 18 joule approximately. So we can also write this energy in terms of electron volt. So you all know that 1 electron volt, that is equal to 1.6 into 10 raised to power minus 19 joule. So if you want to convert joule in electron volt, then this 1 joule is actually 1 upon 1.6 into 10 raised to power minus 19 electron volt. So you have to convert 6.03 into 10 raised to power minus 18 joule into electron volt. So what you have to do, you have to simply divide it by 1.6 into 10 raised to power minus 19. So if you will divide it by this particular term, you will get the energy of lowest energy state in electron volt. So this is our answer of first problem, where an electron is trapped in one-dimensional finite potential box, and that electron is trapped in the box of width 1 angstrom. So this is the energy of lowest state. So this is the way to find the lowest possible energy for a particle trapped in a box, infinite potential box. Now the next problem. Now in this problem, again you have an electron. So there is an electron, and that electron is confined to move between two rigid balls separated by 10 raised to power minus 9 meter. Means now in this case, the width of the box is 10 raised to power minus 9 meter. So this is width of the box, and in this box, you know, again electron is trapped, and these are the rigid balls, infinite potential box. Particle cannot cross these boundaries. So particle is confined between this 0 and A, that is confined in this box of width 10 raised to power minus 9 meter. Now the question is, we have to find the de Broglie wavelengths corresponding to first 3 allowed energy states, and we also have to find the corresponding energies. So the meaning of this allowed energy states is that when particle is trapped in this particular box, then particle will exist in certain energy states. Energy of those states is fixed, as well as the wave function of those energy states is also fixed. So now let's try to understand that how to find the energy and wavelength of those allowed energy states. So when we are saying allowed energy states, then n equal to 1, that is the first integer value for the first allowed energy state. For that allowed energy state, E1 will be the energy. Next allowed energy state means n equal to 2. So for the second allowed energy state, energy will be E2 and it will be 4 times of energy of lowest energy state. And when we are saying third allowed energy state, then n equal to 3 and its energy will be 9 times of energy of lowest state. So in order to find the energy of 3 possible or allowed states, first we have to find E1, then simply multiply it with 4, you will get the energy of second state. In order to find the energy of third state, you have to multiply with 9. So this is the way to find energy of the first 3 states. So let's see how to solve or how to get the energy of those states. Now you can see here, this is the formula for energy eigenvalues for any nth state. So you can see here, En is equal to n square, h square upon 8m a square. So for the first state, n equal to 1. So if you will take first energy state, then you have to take n as 1. Now, in this expression, you know the significance of each and every term. You know this h is Planck's constant. Since particle trapped is an electron, so the mass is 9.1 into 10 raised to power minus 31 kg. A, that is width of the box, it is 10 raised to power minus 9 meter. And you know the value of Planck's constant. So just find the value of first energy state when n is taking 1 value. So when n is equal to 1, you will get E1 and that E1 is h square upon 8m a square. When n is equal to 2, you will get your E2 and for n is equal to 3, you will get your E3. It is 9 times of E1, it is 4 times of E1. So first we have to find E1. So E1 is h square upon 8m a square. So all the values are substituted over here and after simplification, so just solve all these parameters and after simplification, again you will get the energy and that energy is 6.03 into 10 raised to power minus 20 joule. So this is the way to find the energy of first energy level when electron is trapped in a box of bit 10 raised to power minus 9 meter. After getting this E1, you can convert it into electron volt. So this was energy in joule. In electron volt, simply you have to divide by 1.6 into 10 raised to power minus 19. So when you will divide it by 1.6 into 10 raised to power minus 19, you will get the energy as 0.38 electron volt. Now it is the simplified value of energy of lowest energy state. Now for the next energy state, for the second allowed energy state, what you have to do? You have to multiply this least energy by 4. So this is the energy of second energy state. 4 into 0.38 electron volt. So 1.52, that is energy of next allowed state. For the third allowed energy state, what you have to do? You have to multiply this E1 with 9. If you will multiply it with 9, you will get the energy of next state, that is 3.42 electron volt. So these are the energy eigenvalues, or these are the energy of first 3 allowed energy state when electron is trapped in a box of width 10 raised to power minus 9 meter. So this is first part of the problem. Now let's see second part, how to solve that second part where we have to find the corresponding wavelengths. So in order to find the wavelength, corresponding wavelength for these 3 allowed energy state, first we have to understand this. Understand the behavior of wave functions here. So as you can see here, this is our first energy state, and you know the wave function that is given by, for nth state, it is given by under root 2 by a sine n pi x upon a. So this is the wave function of nth state. If you will substitute the value of n as 1, you will get the wave function of first state. And for the first state, you have 2 minimas at 2 boundaries at 0 and a and 1 maxima at the center. And if you will closely observe this, then you can see that this distance from here to here, this distance is a, and this a for this particular state is actually half of the wavelength. As you can see here, this is half of the wave. So a is actually lambda by 2 for the first state. Now let's see what is the behavior in second energy state. So the wave function that will take this type of value, this type of behavior in second energy state according to this wave function, means you have 3 minimas here and 2 maximas. Again, you can see from here to here, this distance is a. And this a is actually, now you can see this is full wave, means you can write this a as lambda in for second energy state. And if you will see the case of third allowed energy state, again you can see that for the third allowed energy state, again this distance is a, but now you can see this is one full wave and then half. So this will be 3 lambda by 2. So if you want to generalize this particular relationship, you can see here for the first state, a is lambda by 2. You can say 1 lambda by 2. For the second state, you can write a is 2 lambda by 2. For the third state, you can write it as 3 lambda by 2. For the fourth one, you can write it as 4 lambda by 2 and so on. So it means for nth energy state, we can write a as n lambda by 2. So if you want to find the wavelength, so what will be the wavelength? You have a simple expression here for wavelength, lambda is equal to 2a by n. So now you have to find the wavelength of first 3 allowed energy states. Means you have to find lambda for n equal to 1. So when n is equal to 1, lambda will be simply 2a. And a is 10 raised to power minus 9. So this is 2 nanometer, or you can say 20 angstrom. So that is the wavelength of first allowed energy state. For the second one, you have to substitute n as 2. So when you will substitute n 2, then wavelength is 10 angstrom. Similarly, you can find the wavelength of third allowed energy state. So this is a way to find the wavelength of the allowed energy states. You have 3 energy states, first 3 allowed energy states, n equal to 1, n equal to 2, n equal to 3. Their energies are E1, 4E1 and 9E1, and their wave functions are psi1, psi2, psi3. Accordingly, their wavelengths are 2a by n. Just substitute the value of n as 1, 2 and 3. So in this way, you can find the wavelength of any allowed energy state, and you can also find the energy of any allowed energy state when particle is trapped in one-dimensional infinite potential box. Now let's take another problem. So in this particular problem, we have a particle which is moving in one-dimensional infinite potential box of bit 25 angstrom. So what is given in the question? The bit of this box is given, means this A is, again I'm writing it as A. So A is 25 angstrom in this particular case, and you have to find the probability of finding the particle within an interval of 5 angstrom at the center of the box when it is in the state of least energy. Means at the center, if this is x equal to 0 and this one is x equal to a, then center means x equal to a by 2. So at the center, we have an interval, and that interval is of 5 angstrom. So you have this particular interval at the center. You have to find the probability of locating that particle in this interval in its lowest energy state or in its least energy state. So let's see how to solve this problem. So in order to solve this problem, first we have to define the wave function for the least energy state. So you know the wave function for nth state is given by this expression. And when we are saying least energy, then it means we are referring n as 1. So when n is equal to 1, in that case, the wave function that will be root 2 by a sine pi x upon a. So if you want to find the probability, then we know according to the concept of Schrodinger wave function that just multiply wave function with its complex conjugate. And when we multiply wave function with its complex conjugate, then that particular product will give us the probability of finding the particle. So we have to do the same thing here. In order to find the probability in the lowest energy state, you have to multiply psi1 with psi1 star. But since we have to find that probability in this interval at the center, so we have to substitute the conditions accordingly. So what are those conditions? Let's define those conditions first. So A, that is bit of the box, 25 angstrom, and the interval that is of 5 angstrom at the center. So we have to find the probability at the center of the box. So when we are saying center of the box means x equal to a by 2. And when x equal to a by 2, then what you have to do? In the wave function, you have to substitute x as a by 2. When you will substitute x as a by 2, this will get cancelled. And you will get only sine pi by 2. And you know what is the value of sine pi by 2? It is 1. So psi1, the wave function at the center, that will be only root 2 by a. So at the center, the wave function that will take root 2 by a value. So if this is the wave function at the center in the lowest energy state, then what will be its complex conjugate? Because in order to find the probability, you should know what is the complex conjugate of the wave function. So since there is no imaginary part involved in this, so psi1 star is again equal to psi1. So the probability in that interval of 5 angstrom from x1 to x2, that probability will be psi1 star into psi1. And this is the integration from x1 to x2. So basically x2 minus x1 is the interval of 5 angstrom where we have to find the probability of locating the particle. So simply what you have to do, you have to integrate this this particular term psi1 star psi1 with respect to x starting from x1 to x2, and that x2 minus x1 is 5 angstrom. So substitute the value of psi1, which is root 2 by a. Psi1 star is again root 2 by a. So this is simply 2 by a. So you have 2 by a. So just integrate 1 with respect to x, that will be your x only, and then substitute the limit, it will be x2 minus x1. And you know the bit of the box, that is 25 angstrom. So this is the bit of the box, and that interval is of 5 angstrom. So what you have now, you have 10 by 25 means that is equal to 0.4. And since we have to locate the probability of finding the particle, so basically that probability is always written in percentage. So this 0.4, that can be written as 40%. Means the probability of finding the particle within the box at the center in the lowest energy state is 40%. So this is a way to find the probability. Another question related to same concept. Now you have a particular box, infinite potential box, and bit of that box is given. Now in this case, bit is defined as capital L. Now within this box, there is an interval, and that interval is starting from 0.45 L and it is ending at 0.55 L. So this is the interval. In this interval, you have to find the probabilities of finding the particle, but now you have to find that probability in two states. Means in ground state, when I'm saying ground state means you have to take n as 1, and in addition to that you also have to find the probability in first excited state. Means you have to define your wave function for n equal to 1 as well as for n equal to 2. So let's see how to find the probabilities in these two states. So again, this is the wave function for nth state. So when I'm saying ground state, then we are referring n as 1. So we have to take n1. So for the first state, psi1 is equal to root 2 by L sine pi x upon L. So here I have substituted A as L because L is the width of the box in this particular question. The interval which is given in this question, that is from 0.45 L to 0.55 L. So this is the interval. Now again we have to follow the same process. We have to integrate this psi1 star and psi1 starting from x1 to x2, where x2 minus x1, that is referring the interval. x1 is 0.45 L, whereas x2 is 0.55 L. So just substitute the value of psi1 star and psi1. So again, no imaginary part is involved. So psi1 star and psi1 both are having same value. So just substitute those values. You will get, after multiplying, you will get this particular wave function, this particular value here. Now you know how to integrate sine square or cos square. So in order to integrate the sine square, you have to write it as 1 minus cos 2 pi x upon L divided by 2. So 2 will get cancelled, and then you have to integrate this. Integration of 1 will be x, and the integration of this particular term will be like this. So now you have to substitute the limits here. So when you will substitute the limits are from 0.45 L to 0.55 L. You will get this this particular form. Now only thing which you have to remember here, this is sine 1.1 pi, this is in radian, 1.1 pi radians. You can convert it into degree, or you can directly see the value of 1.1 pi radian, sine 1.1 pi radian from your calculator. But you can also write it in degrees, and then you can get the value of that sine of that particular angle. So I have converted it into degrees. So sine 1.1 pi is 198 degree, and 0.9 pi, that is 162 degree. After substituting the value of sine 198 and sine 162, you will get the value of P1, and that P1 comes out to be 0.1984. So since I have already mentioned that we will always represent probability in percentage, so the percentage is 19.8%, means the probability of finding the particle in that interval from 0.45 L to 0.55 L in the ground state is 19.8%. Now similarly, for the first excited state, you have to find the probability. So for the second state, you have to substitute that n as 2. So this is a wave function, psi 2, and this is a complex conjugate of the wave function. So you have to simplify it, and you can easily see the difference in this case and the previous one. The only difference is, here we have 1 minus cos 4 pi x upon L, whereas in the previous case it was cos 2 pi x upon L. Rest of everything is same. So you have to simplify it following the same process. So after simplification and after substituting these limits, you will see that this P2, that again we have converted this 2.2 pi in in degrees and 1.8 pi in degrees, and after converting and after getting the value of sine 396 and sine 324, you have P2 as 0.0065. So the probability of finding the particle in the same interval in first excited state is much lesser than the probability of finding the particle in ground state. It is only 0.65%. So this is a way to find the percentage in a particular probability of finding the particle in a particular interval. Now I'm taking this last problem, where again you have a particle trapped in a box of width A, and within that box this wave function of nth state is given. So what you have to do? You have to find the value of this unknown constant A. So in order to find the value of this unknown constant A, what you have to do? Since particle is confined between 0 and A, it means the probability of finding the particle between 0 and A is 100% or 1. So this is known as your normalization constant. So in order to find the value of A here, you have to normalize this wave function. So you have to apply the normalization condition. This is normalization condition. This psi n star, this is psi n, not psi 1. Psi n star and psi n dx equal to 1. So substitute the value of psi n and psi n star, both are same. And this total probability, that should be equal to 1 because particle exists between 0 and A. Again, you have to integrate it following the same process. And when you will integrate it, and after substituting the limits here, this limit is actually A, this is also A. So after substituting the limits, you will get your capital A as root 2 by A. So this is your normalization constant. Just substitute this value of normalization constant in that wave function, which is A sine n pi x upon A. So you will get your normalized wave function. So this is a way to normalize a function. So these are some problems which are related to particle trapped in a infinite potential box. You can find the energy of different energy states. You can also find the eigenfunctions. You can find the probability of locating the particle within a certain interval. So following the same steps, you can solve different numerical problems. In the next lecture, we will take some more problems related to quantum mechanics. These are the reference books which you can follow for this particular topic. So that's all for today. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you.